Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following week. My name is Colton Brown, and joining me is Andrew Meadows.
Colton Brown! Shazam!
Shazam! Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. Very good. Very good. I feel like we're starting this episode out on a very good note. You bring in the energy. I like that. I can already tell that you had a little bit more of a positive impression of Shazam, the movie we're talking about on this episode, than you did with Dumbo, our previous regular episode that we did.
I have something to say, at the very least.
So anything, even good, right. Bad, whatever it is. At least you've got something. At least it sparked some thought in that brain of yours. Something, just anything, just anything. No, yeah, we'll definitely have certainly, I think, a good many things to say about Shazam. But I have many things to say right now before we talk about Shazam. I want to remind our listeners, if they have not had a chance to do so, to listen to our Game of Thrones Season 3 episode, now on the regular feed. Very exciting, very exciting. A long one, a 2+ hour extravaganza. Unfortunately, I can tell you right now that Season 4, the Season 4 episode is actually even longer than that. But it's the Season 3 episode is free, so, we give you a lot of bang for your buck, if you will, given that, there's effectively no buck there. But our Season 4 episode, if you do want to listen to that, is up exclusively on our Patreon feed right now, right at this very moment. So if you have had a chance to listen to that Season 3 episode and you're itching for more, you don't have to wait. You don't. But you have to pony up some actual buck this time. $2 a month will get you access to our Patreon exclusive content, which includes the likes of all of our Game of Thrones bonus episodes the very moment they are released to our Patreon supporters. And early access to all of our regular episodes as well. Very, very cool, very exciting things. So Season 4 episode, like I said, is up there, and you're welcome to have a listen if that's something that intrigues you. We're making progress on Season 5. I can note on that. I'm literally halfway through. You're just a nose past that, and we'll be recording that pretty shortly. I imagine probably within the next week or so. That seems like a goal we can attain. So that will be up on the Patreon very shortly. So lots of good Game of Thrones content to look forward to. Of course, the fucking new season starting up pretty soon as well. So that's exciting. So yeah, that's enough Game of Thrones. I think we've covered the Game of Thrones for now. Let's go back to Shazam. Do you have a Shazam related fun fact for our listeners?
I do have Shazam related fun facts. Yes. So,
did you say fun facts? Do you have plural?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a dive on Shazam. And,
all right. Well, I'm here for it. What do you got?
All right. So, Shazam is the magical word that a young Billy has to say in order to become the hero Shazam or Captain Marvel, which he's never referred to in the movie. Fun fact number 1.
Legally, but not permissible. I think that's probably why, if I had to guess.
But my fun fact is it's the name of the wizard that bestows the powers on young Billy Batson, right?
Say my name so my powers may be yours.
Yes, exactly. And it's actually an acronym. The first S, or the only S, I guess, in Shazam, stands for the Wisdom of Solomon. The H stands for the Strength of Hercules. The A stands for the Stamina of Atlas. The Z stands for the Power of Zeus. And the A is the Courage of Achilles. And M is the Speed of Mercury, which is pretty neat, right? That's pretty cool.
It's pretty badass. I feel like, I don't think it's a spoiler to say, I do believe they all get name dropped in the movie, but I don't think it's quite as spelled out like that.
The next part, this is a multiple part thing. So fun fact number 2
all right,
is the wizard that bestows the power on young Billy Batson. His name was originally Shazamo. Okay. And the O stood for the hero of magic, Ogar. And Ogar became corrupt and tried to take the power from Shazamo. So they had a fight and this and that, and Shazamo said, fuck that, I'm cutting that O off. So he ended up cutting the O off to spite Ogar. It goes one step further. how did he get these magical powers? You'll ask. How is he a magical wizard? How did he even become a magical dude? And he was a young shepherd that became the champion of Canaan over 5,000 years ago. And in order for him to get his power, he had to say Valerum, which was an anagram of Marvel back then.
Okay. All right.
So then you would say, do those letters mean anything? And to you, I would say the M stands for the stamina of Marzosh. The A stands for the speed of Eril. The R for the power of Rebalvi. The V for the strength of Voldar. The E for the courage of Elbame. And the L for the wisdom of Lumain. And with those powers, he could breathe. He doesn't need to breathe. He can run at unlimited speeds. He can travel interdimensionally. He understands all languages. All sorts of ridiculous shit. And the amount of ridiculous shit goes on and on and on. And I mean, we could really take a dive on this because it's actually pretty cool. He's an ancient Egyptian magician, which is pretty cool in and of itself. His lair, the Rock of Eternity. He took a rock from heaven and he took a rock from hell and slapped them together, and it's called the Rock of Eternity. And that's where he, in fact, he captured and trapped the 7 deadly sins. So there you have it. There's my fun facts.
Yeah, that kind of came full circle back to the events of the movie, which, you know, anyone that's seen it will kind of, certainly some of those words will mean something to them. Some of them will almost certainly not, but as they did not to me. But that's okay. I enjoyed the deep dive into that. That was I mean,
it's quite the fun facts, right?
Again, this is I think just proving a point that there's something about this movie that gets you a little bit more excited about things. You're just like, let me go fucking do some research on this. You know.
There's a lot of history too with Shazam. I think he was originally published in 1940, so they've been running with him for a long time.
Been around the block a few times, yeah, certainly. You know, I mean, we kind of touched on it a little bit already, but he was known as Captain Marvel for, I think, most of his publication run. Well, I think it wasn't actually even originally a DC character, if I'm not mistaken. I don't.
No, it was originally
I think it was a Fawcett Comics. I think was
that's correct. Fawcett Comics was they published him from 1945 to 1953.
And I assume at some point DC got the rights, bought Fawcett or something along those lines.
They filed a lawsuit, but I don't know the extent of it. I didn't get that far in the wiki.
Yeah, I said I don't have it in front of me, and I don't claim to know it. I just know that it wasn't originally a DC property, and then there's the whole Captain Marvel awkwardness, which, and I mean, it's really interesting. You have 2019, a year where effectively the first time that both Captain Marvels have been, you know, given, I think, the big screen treatment, and you know, they come out maybe a month apart from each other. You know, I don't know. It's an interesting coincidence, obviously, especially given the entangled history between Marvel, DC, the usage of the name Captain Marvel, and so forth. Obviously, we can tell who won in terms of the legality of using the name, because, well, one's called Captain Marvel and one's not. So there you have it. What if I told you that I had a fun fact as well?
What? Double fun fact? I mean, we have like 6 fun facts running now.
Yeah, well, I will. Well, what if I also told you that I can't tell you it until later in the episode?
That's a fucking hot fun fact.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there for you. It is something that involves spoilers from Shazam the movie, and so it would not be appropriate to talk about here. It's more of a behind the scenes type thing. I'll give you that tantalizing detail with the listeners. I mean, you too as well. I'm sure you're intrigued just as much as they are. But yeah, that's something that we'll look back on when we get to spoilers in just a little while. But before we get to there, we got some news to talk about. A little bit less than our prior weeks. I think that's probably a good thing. People are probably sick of us talking about news for too long. Maybe I'm a little bit sick of editing us talking about news for too long. But there really wasn't. It's a little projection. Did you like that?
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
There's really not actually been a whole lot that's broken in the past week. At least not that I'm aware of. And if there has, it ain't on the list. We ain't talking about it, but we are going to talk about some things. I have kind of some Marvel news. Do you want me to start with some Marvel news? We definitely talked about Marvel last week, but I can continue that through line here if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got, man?
Well, I think probably the biggest headline since I guess mostly I was just talking about that other Captain Marvel movie. That other Captain Marvel movie has hit a pretty big milestone in terms of the box office receipts. It has flown higher, further, and faster past the $1 billion threshold at the global box office. I believe it's the 7th in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to have that accomplishment. It's obviously the first female superhero movie. I think Wonder Woman didn't hit $1 billion. I think. I should probably check.
I was actually just trying to. I was fixing to Google it to see.
I don't want to just make shit up and fake news this real quick. Oh, here we go. All right, I have actual sources. I have actual news in front of me.
As I prefer to call
Wonder Woman did $841 million globally. So yes, this is in fact the first female-led superhero film to hit it big. To hit it that big, I mean, fucking $841 million that was a massive coup for WB and DC certainly, and one I think well deserved. I think we can say that. But Captain Marvel, man, $358 million domestically. I think it's actually this is actually an older article. She hit the $1 billion mark on April 3rd, so it's actually been a few days since she's hit that mark. So it's just going to go up from there. That's how these things work. So I think it's stampeding towards about a $400 million domestic finish. I think it'll probably finish just north of that. It seems to be still playing very well. I think the Avengers Endgame releasing in the next few weeks is only going to cause an uptick. I myself am kind of like thinking in the back of my mind, I'd like to see Captain Marvel one more time before Endgame rolls into theaters.
You may have said this, but may have been in the middle of drinking. What if it's 400 million? What market is driving this growth?
I don't understand the question.
400 billion. Yeah, not 400 billion. Jesus Christ,
it's a lot of money.
400 million. 400 million. It's coming U.S. domestic.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So foreign markets are carrying this film up and beyond the
that's always the case. There's never been a domestic film that's cracked $1 billion by itself. Star Wars came real fucking close, but still was I think a couple $100 million short. So there's always a lot of foreign markets that are having a lot of play. China obviously is always a big factor in the foreign box office, but everything else kind of has like a cumulative impact. Certain things tend to play well in certain countries, sometimes not as well in other, or I guess continents. I guess continents probably the better way to put it. Like I know Star Wars is typically a big thing in Europe, less of a big thing in Asia, generally speaking. But this is all the Marvel stuff tends to play pretty well across the board. I mean, Captain Marvel, I'm looking at the numbers for this again, $151 million in China alone. So that's almost half of what it's going to do in America. I mean, that's obviously there's a lot of people in China, certainly,
right?
But it's a different market, certainly, and it plays in very different ways than the American market does. But I mean, $1 billion, man. Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe train just keeps rolling. 21 films have been released. They've collectively hauled $18.5 billion. It's not $400 billion, certainly, but they're well on their way. They're certainly trying for it, and there doesn't appear to be any stop in sight for them. I mean, Avengers Endgame possibly looking at record numbers. When it drops in a few weeks' time. There's a lot, but I mean, Captain Marvel hitting $1 billion. I mean, that's it's really impressive. And another one I would say, much like Wonder Woman did exceptionally well. I think it's perhaps overdue. Perhaps is a bit of an understatement. It's definitely overdue, but I think it is well deserved. It joins the likes of Infinity War, Black Panther, Avengers, Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Iron Man 3 as the other MCU films to crack the $1 billion ceiling. So good on you, Captain Marvel. Good on you, Brie Larson, for kicking ass and taking names and being Mohawk Bay and inspiring enough people to drive their happy asses to cinemas and see Captain Marvel at least once, maybe multiple times. Pretty cool.
It's
I'd
pretty
say.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Brie Larson is pretty cool. Yeah.
Well,
I have news for you.
okay, tell me.
This has been a hot topic of ours. We've been covering it for a while now, and we have a first look at the Joker teaser trailer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have certainly talked about this project on many occasions.
We have.
I think largely, mostly in confusion and just kind of bewilderment. I think overall.
That's right. But it did have a star-studded cast. It makes you question what the fuck's going on.
Which I think in some ways only added to that confusion and the bewilderment. You know, it was just kind of like, are they for real with this? Well, I mean, some real people, some real talented people are signing on to this. Like, what the fuck is this thing? I'm very curious. I don't want to pass the buck too much, but I've been talking a lot, so I feel like it's perhaps okay in this scenario. I really want to know what you think about this teaser.
Tell you
trailer.
what, dude. Okay, I've been I have not been hot on the DC movie train. I have not been hot on it.
I think that's a fair statement. Sure.
Okay. I haven't been hot on Joker. You know, we got that thing. We got that first look or whatever, and it's you know, I don't know what to expect about it. I don't really care for that design. But I tell you what, after this teaser trailer, it looks very intriguing. It looks almost as if they're going for the angle that because the question is how do you have a Joker without a Batman? Almost in a sense, right? How do you make a movie about this deranged character? And it's almost as if they might be. I don't want to say sympathy card. They're not dropping the sympathy card at all, but they're making a sympathetic character out of the Joker is what they're doing. That's what it looks like they're doing anyways. And it looks really intriguing. I'm pretty excited about it. I have to say after this teaser. You know, it makes me wishing that Jared Leto was I always wish Jared Leto was never a Joker, but it makes me intrigued to see the future of DC films with this guy as the Joker, with Jaquan. With
Jaquan Phoenix as the Joker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You had some thoughts.
No, I don't have any more thoughts. I just that's my initial impression. I'm kind of excited now. It looks like it's well acted. It looks like they're going they're coming from an angle that could be from really the only angle I think that you could really put this in, from only the light that, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you can only make a 2-hour movie of the Joker from this angle that they're coming from. And I think I don't know. I think they might be doing a good job of it. Yeah,
I mean, I'm a little conflicted on this one. I guess I'll start with probably a couple thoughts that I had in response to your comments.
Okay.
First of which is I see what you're talking about in terms of potentially framing this version of the Joker, Arthur Fleck, I think is what he's named in this movie, as kind of a sympathetic character. And I hope if they do that they pull the rug out at some point, because that doesn't make sense for the Joker.
No.
Joker should never be a sympathetic character.
At some point, they have to pull the rug out, and he just has to go fucking bonkers. But they have to frame it from the sense that he was somebody that didn't get the care he needed, or he didn't get something, or whatever, and then he dropped off the deep end.
I disagree. I don't think they should do any of that.
Okay, what do you got?
That to me runs entirely counterintuitive to the Joker as a character. The point of the Joker is we don't know what makes him tick, and that's what makes him so terrifying. And so my worry is if they're trying to offer this characterization that they are going to do exactly that, and they're going to make us feel bad and like, well, you know, if he, you know, he had a right, you know, if he was the right upbringing, then maybe he wouldn't have turned out this way. And I don't like that take at all. I'm not saying that that's what this take is going to be, but to me,
how else do you have a take with a villain as a main character? And that, because I completely agree with you, but within the frame of this particular movie, how else do you make a 2 hour? How do you have a compelling?
I agree with you in the sense that I don't know how you make that movie, but I would also say that's why I would never have made this movie personally.
That's totally fair.
So that's totally where I'm fair. At is. I don't think that my worry is that they will do that, and that will frustrate me, I think, because it kind of I mean, it's this Elseworlds take on the Joker, and that's all well and good. We've certainly seen multiple iterations of the Joker, but I don't want people to be rooting for the Joker. Like, it's kind of gross.
It is kind of gross. But did you ever did you read Red Hood?
Yeah.
I think that's the one where he was like he was an aspiring comedian. He couldn't make anything for his family and this and that.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it's not the same thing, because obviously it's not. He's attached to his mom or something in this teaser, I guess. But I mean, I feel like if you're gonna make a movie about the Joker, you have to follow something closer to Red Hood, right? I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, my hope is that it's not just the rug being pulled out from under us in the sense that, like, oh, he breaks bad in the third act. I think that's the obvious thing to do. I think it has to be in the sense that
first third.
Oh no, he's always been a piece of shit the entire time, and the fact that you ever sympathize with this character says that you're also a piece of shit. I think that would be fine. I think that's what it should do.
Yeah.
I think that would be more interesting. I don't think Todd Phillips is capable of pulling off such a thing personally, but I'm welcome to be surprised. I will say, yeah, absolutely. The fucking cast looks phenomenal. Jaquan looks like he's fucking going for it, and I think that's awesome. Dude's a phenomenal actor. I think he's absolutely going to crush this role in a way that Jared Leto's Pinky could never dream of doing. But to your comment about this potentially being the future, or seeing this iteration of the Joker in the future, I don't think that you ever see this Joker past this movie. I don't think he would have ever signed on the dotted line if it was ever going to be a multi-movie deal. So I think that this is it. This is going to be its own kind of riff on the Joker. It's going to end in a very definite spot. I don't think you'll ever see this Joker run into Batman, anything like that. I'd be shocked as all hell if they ever did. Definitely not Shazam. I mean, to be fair, we'll talk about it. The Shazam does take place in a very interesting sort of DC universe, which feels a bit odd. It feels a bit at odds, I guess, as well.
It does, especially when you get this teaser, a week before, 2 weeks before, or whatever.
So I think this is very much intended to be its own thing, and I think that's the right thing to do. I don't think it makes sense to put this. I mean, obviously, I guess it doesn't make sense anyway, because theoretically, Jared Leto is your Joker, and he's the Jared Leto. The Jared Leto Joker is the one running around in this universe, the Joker or whatever. I mean, I guess you could retcon that and be like, yeah, he was just some idiot, or he was Jason Todd, or some dumb shit. I wouldn't put it past him. But
DC. I wish you'd get your shit together. You have some really
I don't know.
characters.
I'm still iffy on this. I think that it looks really well shot. I think it's definitely going to be well acted. I just hope that it doesn't fall into the pitfalls that I'm afraid it's going to, and that I treat DC at arm's length,
Yeah, no, that's
because of our spurned history together.
But it is a good trailer.
It's a well put together trailer, absolutely. It's something like never in a million years would I have personally thought this movie should have been made, but I am certainly willing to give it a chance after seeing the trailer. I have reservations. I think understandable reservations, I would say. And my hope is that, I hope DC surprises me. I really do. I'm definitely game to see it. And this inspires more confidence than I had, I think, probably previously. Based on kind of the information leading up to it. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I think it drops in October later this year. So it's pretty close, actually. Half a year. I mean,
right
it's
around
not
the
that close, but later this year, certainly a pretty quick turnaround. So, and we have been talking about it for a while. So, I'm going to talk about some casting news. I want to continue my through line from last episode, our Dumbo episode, where we talked about a lot of Marvel casting news. I actually have casting news concerning the exact same projects that we talked about on that last episode. Future Marvel Cinematic Universe projects in the form of Black Widow and in the form of the Eternals. So the Eternals, reportedly Angelina Jolie in talks to join. I don't know what the latest on that is, but as far as she hasn't dropped out yet, so for all intents and purposes, she's going to be part of it. Kumail Nanjiani. Also apparently boarding the cast for the Eternals. Nanjiani, of course, big role on Silicon Valley on HBO. If you ever watched that, it's fantastic. He did The Big Sick. I think he co-wrote that with his wife Emily Gordon. It was kind of like a semi-biographical film. It was really great. I forget what year it came out, but it was really good. Definitely worth checking out. And he's also, I don't think either of us have had the chance to watch it, but he's in one of the Twilight Zone episodes.
Oh yeah,
that just came out. I think he's in one of the first two that are up on CBS All Access now. And he's great. I like him a lot. Anything I've seen him in, he's always been great. No details on what he's going to be playing in this movie. Marvel, of course, being very stingy with details, not keen on giving us too much for this. But yeah, I know we talked a little bit about the Eternals, so I don't need to totally rehash that thought. But they're fucking cosmic, old ass aliens, kind of humanoid-esque with powers and typical Marvel stuff, but maybe some more weirder, maybe like a weirder section of the galaxy, the universe for Marvel for them to go, and certainly good casting, I think. Now over in the world of Black Widow, we've got two pretty big names. I would say joining the cast. First of which is David Harbour, who many of our listeners will probably know as Hopper from Stranger Things, and the upcoming Hellboy, certainly. I don't think a lot of people are going to watch that movie. Maybe they'll be justified in their decision. We'll have to wait and see within a week.
Maybe not in Australia. Apparently, got the worst brutal rating in Australia. Did you see that?
I didn't even know it was released over there.
Well, yeah, it's going to get released in Australia. It's not released yet, but apparently they have
just like pre-release reactions of like, are you excited about this?
It's like the like we have rated R.
Oh, like the actual like the MPAA type thing.
Right.
Well, there was I don't know if you saw it. I'm not going to tell you to watch it. I wouldn't tell anyone to watch it, honestly. They put out like a minute-long trailer. Basically, the whole thing was like, this is the bloodiest film ever made. It's so rated R. It hurts. It's so brutal, and it was just
fuck yeah, that's cool. Was it good?
It was so bad looking. I cannot believe. We're gonna do an episode on Hellboy. I think that's fair to say. We'll certainly have many more things to say, but there's some interesting production things I think that happened with that movie. And if it's as bad as I suspect it will be, I will certainly dive into that because I think it will probably have some factor into the final product. But, I guess I'll keep an open mind or whatever, but it looks real fucking bad. But David Harbour is fucking great. He's always great in everything that he's been in, at least anything that I've seen him in. I'm looking forward to him joining Black Widow. No details on the role, as per usual. But, it's Black Widow, spies, and Russia and shit. I don't know. Take your pick. He'll probably be something along those lines, something that'll fit right into the bill.
Yeah,
so
totally.
But there's another name I think that gets you very excited, if I'm not mistaken.
What name is that? What name could get me excited?
How about Rachel Weisz?
Ooh,
I could hear that excitement. I think I could almost feel that excitement a little bit. Yeah, I think I felt that a little bit.
She's pretty good.
Yeah. She's also in talks to join, Scarlett Johansson, hanging out in that Black Widow movie.
So much Bay action going on in that movie.
There's certainly some Bay action going on in there. Yeah, can't dispute that. No word on who she'd play in the film. But it's picking up a pretty good cast for itself between, of course, Scarlett Johansson and David Harbour and Rachel Weisz. I think that's that sounds pretty good to me.
That's a pretty star-studded cast, if I would say.
And joining Florence Pugh, who we talked about on our last episode. So that's it's good. Marvel's making waves. They said they're stampeding their way to that $400 billion threshold. They'll take them a few years, but now they got the X-Men, they got the Fantastic Four. I don't know.
It's a money-making machine.
They're getting closer, man. They're getting closer, certainly. So that's what I got. I know you've got some casting stuff you wanna talk about, right?
I got some Netflix casting news, I should say. I have Netflix casting news. I like my Netflix casting. We got Cowboy Bebop, little anime adaptation, live action news, I should say. So this week it was announced that John Cho
mm-hmm.
was announced to play Spike Spiegel, who is the lead of the Cowboy Bebop ensemble. We also have Alex Hazel, Daniela Pineda, and Mustafa Shakir. Mustafa, I do know, has played in. He played in Luke Cage, and he played in. He's played in American Gods most recently.
Huh, okay. Yeah, I definitely know him from Luke Cage, Bushmaster.
Yeah, and in American Gods, he plays a Baron Samedi, who is the voodoo god of life and death, which is pretty neat. Anyways, side note. That's a little side note. I do not know Daniela. Apparently, she played Zia Rodriguez in Jurassic World, which is
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, the superior of the two. We should specify.
Right, you know one, right?
That's not true actually, but
she also played. Listen, you'll know this one because I know you're hip on all the CW shit. She also played in Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I think I remember her from that. Yeah, you're right. Definitely. She played
I was hoping you didn't know that. You really know that?
She played Vampire 3, I think.
No, she played Sophie Devereaux.
Yeah, there was the one scene. Yeah, she's a vampire, and then there was a scene where she was writing a diary, I think.
I can't believe
she was writing in her diary. Though you don't remember that?
Did you actually watch Vampire Diaries?
No, I've never watched it.
Oh, okay.
So, minute of me telling you that she's a random vampire writing in a diary didn't give away the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about. Come on, son.
Anyways, Alex Hazel, I don't know who this guy is, but apparently he played in Suburbicon, which is that movie with Matt Damon in it.
Yeah, I heard it was real bad.
Yeah, I never watched it.
But John Cho,
John Cho played Sulu in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. The new Star Trek trilogy. Harold and Kumar. Yeah, that's a pretty big one. Yeah,
I think didn't he direct Searching, which is that the Facebook movie?
I don't think he did, but I could be mistaken on that. He was the main character in it.
Okay,
certainly,
at the very least, he's the main character.
Yeah, he's great. He's always been great in everything I've seen him in. So seems like a pretty good cast they've put together for Cowboy Bebop. I know Shinichiro Watanabe, I think the original anime creator, is like a consultant on the series or something like that. So I feel like that gives me hope that they're not just going to bastardize it for the Western audience. And it doesn't seem like, it's a pretty diverse cast, so it definitely doesn't seem like they're whitewashing it or anything like that. So I feel like Netflix is really getting out on the right foot with this, as far as I can tell. As someone that hasn't watched the original show. I think we talked with Jordan about it many episodes a while ago, and I know he was a big fan on it. I know people they fucking love this show. So
hopefully they treat it right, I guess.
I would say to my untrained, uninformed eye, I would say seems like they're doing pretty well for themselves. Absolutely, seems like a good start. So looking forward to it. Yeah, I think that's what I got. Cool. Assume it's probably a 2020 release. I'd have to guess. I'm sure they haven't. I don't know. It seems like it's probably going to have some. I would imagine a lot of effects and stuff like that. So I'd say maybe late 2020 is probably the timeline for that. But we'll see. We will see. And that's it, right? That's all the news we got.
That's all the news we got.
All right. Well, I think it's time for Shazam.
Shazam.
So you just changed back in your. I saw it. The listeners can't see it, but he became a real big manly man, and then he turned into
lightning struck.
And then he turned back into the sad sack that he is in real life. That's okay. It's all right.
That's all right.
Well, Shazam. Let's talk about it. It was written by Henry Gayden, directed by David F. Sandberg, stars Zachary Levi as Shazam himself. Mark Strong, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer, and Jamin Honsu as the wizard. An ancient wizard grants 14-year-old Billy Batson the ability to turn into an adult superhero by shouting one word. And you might have guessed what the word is. It's Shazamo. Wait, no, it's not. It's just Shazam. Remember because of the thing? You got it. They got
fun
it.
Fact,
they got it.
Because of the fun fact. That's right.
That's right. So let's talk box office. I would say I think Shazam is heading to be the lowest grossing film in the DC extended universe, or whatever the hell they're calling it these days. But I think it's doing pretty well for what it is. I think that's probably the better way to frame it. $53.4 million opening weekend, stands tall at number one for the weekend by quite a lot. $159 million worldwide box office debut, and it's reviewing very well. People like it. Got a really good cinema score, so I think it's going to have as much legs as it can possibly have until Avengers Endgame crushes it in a few weeks' time. I think it's gonna play very well for the next few weeks at the very least. But I think its closest comp is Ant-Man. You know, Ant-Man has kind of been a lower grossing entry for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but always one that's been a little bit lower budgeted than the rest. And you know, I think tonally speaking, it's also a pretty apt comparison too, because Shazam is really about having a fun, lighthearted entry into what has otherwise mostly been a very dour ride, and Ant-Man was kind of, you know, injecting a lot of levity into something that I guess the Marvel Cinematic Universe is always pretty lighthearted, I think, overall, but Ant-Man is kind of, I mean, it's fucking Ant-Man, you know what I mean? It's just
right.
Okay, you know, and the fact that like an Ant-Man movie made like almost $60 million in its opening weekend was like, that was a success story for Marvel, and I think that's much the same here. You know, it's not. I don't think it's certainly not going to crack $1 billion like the other Captain Marvel or even like Aquaman did. But I think it was budgeted at $100 million, something like that. So it's, you know, it's literally a third of what Justice League had for its budget, and it made probably 75% of what Justice League did in its opening weekend. So I'd say, you know, put those two figures next to each other. It's looking good. It's looking good for it.
It's pretty successful.
And, you know, the word of mouth, like I said, the word of mouth, I think, is really going to do it as much favors as possible until Avengers destroys
especially our
everything in
mouth.
sight.
Maybe we can start picking up some DC checks.
Well, I mean, you know,
We didn't sign an exclusive deal.
I mean, they didn't. They probably didn't like me with what I said about the Joker, but
They like what I said, though.
They did. They're hold on. Are you holding out on me? Are you getting the paychecks that I'm not? Hold on now. Well, the real test is going to be what you thought about Shazam, because if you're, no, it's not true. I like this movie a lot, so I think we're both going to say nice things about it. But I'll let you say nice things first. How's that?
Sounds good. Soundtrack, awesome. All about the soundtrack. I'll lead with that. I will also lead on the. It felt like a Spider-Man for the DC universe in a lot of ways, I thought.
It's very Sam Raimi in terms of its tone and feel, I thought.
Yeah.
I assume that's probably what you're thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's actually exactly what I'm thinking of. Which is really cool, because we don't see this kind of stuff coming from DC ever, you know? I mean, maybe you get some halfway.
Tell me.
I should have peed on that. You know, sometimes you get some shitty humor from DC. You know, maybe you get some good humor. You know, but never in like the kind of. It just feels. I don't know. It feels very well rounded. This movie does. You know. I think it was shot okay. I like I like how they integrated I don't know how crazy into spoilers I'm getting. Probably not.
I don't know what you're going for. So
they integrated like a it's a much more kinetic kind of way they filmed everything. Almost like it was like freehand shot, you know, which is kind of cool, because it was almost from the perspective of people that would be watching the action. People from the streets recording it on cameras and everything else. A large I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff that's not even properly filmed, but filmed in a conventional manner. And then there's things that are filmed as if they were filmed from phones or filmed from people that didn't know how to film, which I thought that was pretty cool. They also used your city, sir, a whole lot. And I've been there before.
Yeah, definitely a lot of play for Philadelphia here,
which was pretty cool. I thought that the villain was the villain was shitty, okay, but I felt like he was appropriate in the tone the film was going for. I felt it was like he's totally fine. I felt like I thought Levi was awesome. I thought, and I thought even the kids actors were pretty good. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well written. I thought it was funny. I thought it was serious when it needed to be serious or when it was trying to be serious. I thought it executed those tones well. And most of all, I think it feels very much like a fun comic book movie, which I don't think we get a lot of from DC. We get a lot of comic book movies from Marvel, and they might be serious in tone. They might not be as funny as this movie or anything else, but they're just really, they just feel like straight up comic book adventure movies, And I think that they executed that really well in this movie. So that's my thought. Brief snippets. I don't want to get into too much detail. There's a lot of detail that needs to be talked about, I think, but
maybe later. Maybe later, perhaps. Maybe we can talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, and no secret, obviously, that I liked the movie. Said as much already. But I think that the difference, between this and most of the other entries in DC's recent output, certainly is and how genuine it feels and how authentic it feels and how unafraid it is to just kind of be itself instead of... I think Aquaman was that too, but it almost to its detriment at times where it really leaned into, the Pitbull song is just come on, and Shazam never had a moment like that. I think the closest comparison would probably be Wonder Woman, in terms of a movie that really felt like filmmakers that understood their character and just fucking went for it, instead of taking
There were detriments. There's direct comparisons to Wonder Woman that I want to call out.
Okay.
I'm going to wait till the spoiler section to do
it. Yeah, sure. So I think that's what sets it apart overall, and I think the biggest thing that helps this movie is the fact that it is just naturally very charming. It has a very charming cast. Zachary Levi is always a joy to watch as Shazam. He sells that kid playing an adult thing just as well as Tom Hanks did back in the day. In Big, and there's a little big Easter egg in there for the discerning viewer.
Yeah, there is,
which is fun, But it's I think the strength of this movie is that it's not so concerned with the bombastics of the superheroism and more concerned with telling a genuine, heartfelt story. And I think that that's where the movie shines, is it really has an emotional core to it. I think that really works for it. It makes you, Billy's kind of a shithead for a little bit of it, but he goes through a real emotional arc, I think, throughout the movie. And by the time the third act rolls around and there's kind of resolution to what his storyline has been through the entire movie, it feels earned, it feels real, and it feels like the payoff there was really something that, I feel like the writers went out of their way to really make the center of the story in a way that, Aquaman, had, I think, more spectacle than this. Obviously, I would say. I don't think that's a stretch to say. And I think that
absolutely. It also had an enormous budget.
Aquaman is just a more bombastic movie. It's a movie I think that obviously played better with general audiences in terms of the box office receipts for one reason or another. But I think that one had a lot of missteps. I think, in spite of being a generally pretty entertaining movie, certainly one that I enjoyed overall. Surprisingly enough, this one was on the marketing material. Always made it seem like it was going to be a real funny, enjoyable movie, and I think we got exactly what was promised. And I think that's also satisfying too. To walk in with half decent expectations for a DC movie and to walk out thinking, yeah, they got it right.
Feels good.
It was actually really nice, and not even I don't even mean that in a backhanded way. And what I could probably say with Aquaman is well, that was a lot better than I expected.
It was also a lot longer.
I had a lot of issues that, with Aquaman, but Shazam, I had some misgivings with it, not a whole lot. I think overall, I think it really hit the mark on everything that it was trying to do. I think it was a little overlong. Could have been 10, 15 minutes shorter. Could have been a tighter experience. I think pacing has problems here and there. I think the villain is probably the weakest point of the film for me.
I'd agree with you.
But I don't think he's outright bad. He's as perfunctory, I think, as a villain can be. I felt like they tried to do some character type stuff with him, and then just decided to ditch that about halfway through the movie.
They sprinkled it in there so we had a little bit of a backstory, and that was about it.
But I felt like they really went for it with this, and I enjoyed that. I will say, just to kind of somewhat touch on something I think we alluded to earlier with like tone and stuff like that. It's so weird that this is supposedly in a universe where like this for all intents and purposes seems to be taking place in a world where Batman v Superman and you know, films of its ilk happen, like Justice League. Like there's a lot of open references to other DC properties, other DC characters. Like there's like a mall sequence where they go to a toy store and you see like Batman merchandise on the shelf and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like, what are the logistics of that? Like I almost think it works better as its own thing, where just that is a thing that's happening. Because I'm like, why the fuck would there be a toy of the Ben Affleck Batman that brands prisoners with fucking batarangs and shit? And like, it's fucking weird.
Gratifying a fucking crazy dude.
Like that's weird, right? And like, what are the licensing rights on that? Who is getting the profits from that? I don't understand any of this. And so I maybe shouldn't think about those things, but it really does feel kind of weird to have that, aspect of the storyline. But I like the integration. Like I think the integration works really well. I just think it works better and like a kind of taking a step back and be like, oh yeah, there is a Batman in the universe, but it doesn't have to be that Batman or whatever. You know what I mean? I think maybe that's a better way of looking at it. I don't think that's necessarily the intent of the filmmakers, but I feel like if I take a step back, I can justify a little bit more that way. But I think overall, I think that I think DC definitely has a winner with this one. I really, I mean, they leaned into the absurd, they leaned into the fantastical. There's magic and stuff, and and there's some weird shit that happens. I will say, I guess this is probably more appropriate for non-spoilers. Not just in terms of tone with the rest of the universe, I'd say actually internally speaking, the tone is kind of all over the place, but I honestly think that kind of works for it, in a weird sort of way where like, I feel like there's some genuine horrific moments in this movie that feel a little bit out of place next to the rest of it. But I think that it almost feels like in the same way that like Spider-Man 2 to bring up the Raimi comparison, like the Doc Ock scene where it goes full Evil Dead, like when he's like the tentacles are kind of like controlling him and it has like the Deadite camera and stuff like that, and you're just like, wait, this is a straight up horror film in the middle of a fucking Spider-Man film. I think there's moments like that in this, and I kind of like that because it reminds me of like an older era of film. Ghostbusters is kind of what I think of. I remember like there's certain parts of Ghostbusters that always scared the shit out of me as a kid. And you watch it as an adult and you're just kind of like, oh, okay. But like, for young kids, I could certainly see
like that painting. Which one had the painting with that baby?
That was Ghostbusters 2. Yeah.
That was kind of fucked up. That was I remember that.
Vigo the Carpathian, yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah.
But I think there's moments like that where there's genuine moments of terror. If you have, for a movie I think that otherwise totally plays to a younger audience much more in a way than any of the other DC movies do. This very much feels like it's geared towards a different audience, and I think for its benefit, again, there are bear in mind that there are those moments. I suppose if you happen to have little kids that are coming along, I think that certainly some things could get intense for the younger viewers. But I think overall, like I said, I didn't mind that so much because it honestly just to me felt like an honest representation of like a movie that doesn't really get made that much anymore. Like Marvel movies, I think, rarely get this dark, to my recollection. I guess they do. I mean, like Infinity War had obviously a pretty dark ending and stuff like that. But
the darkest.
I guess that's probably yeah. Maybe that's not a good comparison. I felt like prior to I think maybe what Infinity War made that show shocking is that because it was like oh wait. Usually things kind of just go back to the way they were and everything's, pretty okay. And that was kind of the exception. But this one, I think it doesn't, it's certainly not an Infinity War type ending. I don't mean to draw that comparison.
No, and
but
it's not concerned with that either though.
But it's just moments here and there. And I just found it interesting. And I think the director has a horror background, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did Lights Out, I want to say, I think is something he did. So I felt like almost, in the way that Raimi came from that Evil Dead trilogy, I got that kind of vibes of like him drawing on some previous works and kind of, just adding a little bit extra to the film to kind of give it, a little bit of a different flavor at times, which I liked. I thought it worked well for the film. Soundtrack, you mentioned the soundtrack. I too liked the soundtrack. I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, I mean, I thought the character work was exceptional. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that in spoilers. Villain aside, I think villain is probably, again, the weakest point, but I felt like the foster family aspect of it was exceptionally well handled. I thought that was a big strong point for this film. And I feel like it's a really good launching point for this character. I imagine a character that most people are not familiar with overall. I wouldn't guess. I guess I think you had a little bit of familiarity with Shazam. I know
I read a
probably
Shazam comic a long time ago, a graphic novel. Okay. I can't remember what it was called.
Plus, he's in isn't he in Kingdom Come and stuff like that too?
Yeah, he is. And
that's kind of a different type thing as well. But no, this is good. This is what we want from DC. I think that's probably the bottom line.
There's more to be had than what we've been given.
Right. It's almost like they've been holding out on us for 8 movies. I don't know. I mean, like Wonder Woman, I think was legitimately really good. But it had problems too. It had problems. This isn't a perfect film. I wouldn't say it's a perfect film. I know I have some issues with it, but I feel like I think even if you put aside the fact that it's like, oh my God, DC made this, I think it stands on its own as a legitimately really good film too.
Yeah. No, it's totally good. It's a totally good movie.
So,
recommendations.
Recommendations, yeah. Let's do that.
I'll lead it. I'll say that this is my favorite DC movie made. Since the Bale Batmans is what I would say.
Yeah, certainly of their recent crop of
exactly. Yes,
the DC extended universe. Are they calling it that? They said they weren't calling it that. But the Wikipedia calls it that, so someone's calling it. All right.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
call it that.
So post the Bale Batmans, this is my favorite.
So Man of Steel on basically.
Yeah,
what you're looking at.
This is by far my favorite DC movie. And it's not even, like you said, in a vacuum. If this were to just come out by itself, it's a really good movie, and I really enjoyed it. I would 100% advise anybody to watch this in theaters. It's worth watching.
Yeah, I'll see theaters as well for myself. I guess I saw it twice. I know I talked about it, I guess, a little while back that I saw it when they did the Fandango preview screenings. I saw it again in IMAX. It's definitely, I was happy to watch it a second time. I think that's probably pretty telling in and of itself. I would hope. It's absolutely worth your time in theaters. So you should go see it. I mean, yeah, that's what I got.
It's good for younger audiences. It's good for
I think certainly of any of the DC films they've put out, it's easily the most I guess a younger viewer friendly. With again those moments that I talked about, but I think overall it's I hope that, I guess where appropriate, DC adheres to a tone closer to this. Like I don't think a Batman movie necessarily needs to have this tone. I don't think that's true. But
a Batman branding people, it's like, well, I want to take my kid into the fucking.
But I hope that DC moving forward understands that like certain, like if they ever God forbid do another fucking Superman movie, make it more like this. This is your model for a Superman movie. Superman should be, he's not a fucking kid in an adult's body, but Superman should be a fun character, not a dour piece of shit that hates his job. Like, oh God, I have to save people today.
Tears apart people's cities.
Yeah, and it's like,
we can get into it in spoilers. There's a lot of, I don't know if they're necessarily references to other movies or not, but I feel like they kind of acknowledge the fact the movies that came before this one is they're questionable at the very least.
I think that's true. Yeah.
And it I laughed my ass off like anytime something like that happened, I laughed. I thought it was funny. I drew the connection. I thought it was funny, and I thought it was, I don't know, it's just very cleverly made.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's go to full spoilers on this. So full spoilers for Shazam. Well, I feel like since we're already kind of talking about it, those moments of kind of maybe self-deprecating humor where it's maybe taking the piss with past DC movies. Were there particular moments in the movie that stood out to you?
There was one in particular. I mean, there's a couple that are worth acknowledging, but my biggest gripe with not even my biggest gripe, but one gripe that I frequently have is there's always this moment where DC characters are floating and they fly into each other. I've called it out multiple times on this podcast. I'm almost 100% sure. And in this movie...
It's the third act staple.
Yeah, the third act
usually smoke and fire and you can't see shit, Captain, is part of the formula as well.
Yeah, so there's this kid ramming those action figures together.
Yeah,
and
right, yeah.
and then it happens. I thought it was really good. Yeah. They also called out the fact that they're like a mile apart and like they're having this big, incredible speech. And he's like, I can't fucking hear you. You're so far away. Fuck it. I'm flying into you. And I thought that was... I laughed. So I'm pretty sure I distracted other viewers because I was laughing so hard when I saw that. That made me feel so good. There was another moment that I wanted to call out, but I can't quite remember what it was now that we're talking. What was the last thing we were talking about when I said that?
That's flying into each other. I mean, that's
no, before that. Do you remember?
No, it's pretty much the gist of it.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck.
Well,
I can't remember. I'm sure it'll come back.
If it comes back, let me know, certainly. But I think now would be a good time for me to plug in my fun fact for this episode, which certainly involves spoilers for Shazam, and I think our listeners will understand. You will understand why I've waited. And so, third act of the movie rolls around. We've met many of the members of the Foster family. Darla, Mary, Eugene, Pedro, Freddy, of course, Freddy. And lo and behold, at the end of the film, Billy has this bright idea to grant the powers of Shazam, of the wizard, to the rest of his family. And so we get the introduction of the Shazam family, or as I like to call them, the Shazam fam. Alternatively...
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Alternatively, they also could be called the Shazamily, but Shazam fam is my go-to personally.
The Shazam fam, that's pretty good.
So
did you coin that yourself? Is that coined yourself?
I'm sure it's been said online before, but
you have not seen it. That's impressive. That's good. I like it.
As soon as I saw it happen, I was just like, Shazam fam. Well, they're known as the Marvel family in the comics. I don't know if they've changed that. I guess they're probably the Shazam family now, but I don't think they're the Shazam fam or anything like that in the comics, as far as I'm aware. But it's pretty big moment. I think this is largely based off of Jeff Johns' relatively recent run on Shazam. I don't know I think it might have been the New 52 run from probably early 2000s-ish.
It happened before that.
Oh, I know it's happened before that, but I think this particular iteration and how it treated a lot of its characters was, I think, inspired by the more recent run. But I know that, like, Mary Marvel has been around for a long time. I think she was at one point, I think she was originally, like, Billy's twin or something like that. They didn't obviously go for that here. But I was really surprised to see them go into this direction with full-on the Shazam fam. Everyone getting powered up with their adult incarnations, their ideal human form, or whatever the fucking explanation is, and they've got superhero powers and shit. They can fly.
Let me ask you this:
super speed, hyper speed. Mm-hmm.
Now, Shazam is the embodiment of all the qualities of those Greek gods, right?
That's right.
I kind of got the feeling that the other Shazam forms, the Shazam fam, if you will, was more articulated on one aspect of those gods. More so, for example, Shazam has all the qualities, whereas the girl got more of the wisdom aspect, where she's just smarter. And that one guy got the strength of Hercules, where he was just ridiculously buff and he was able to hold up the thing.
Hold up the Ferris wheel, sure.
So I feel like they have portions of the Shazam acronym, if you will, because I've lost my notes when I clicked out of that window.
Sure.
But you get what I'm getting at? Do you see what I'm alluding to? Where each person personified one god or another more so than.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's certainly not, I think, addressed heavily enough, and
it's not direct. No.
To definitively say if that's the case, but I could certainly see that because it definitely seemed like Darla in particular ran fast a lot.
Right.
Like her adult version was running it fast a lot, and yeah, Pedro was holding up the Ferris wheel. I talked to Jordan, my brother, about this very recently, and he was asking me, he was like, what did Mary do in that whole third act as her powered up version? And I was just like, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea.
I don't know if she did.
Everyone else, he was, we were kind of talking about it, and like everyone else kind of got a moment to do something, something, and she's just kind of there. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe a cut scene or something like that, because she gets a decent amount of play throughout the rest of the movie, but not much there. Anyway, I say all this as a precursor to my fun fact, which involves the casting of the Shazam fam, the elder versions of the Shazam fam, which I think is also kind of a perhaps coincidence, but perhaps intentional, tongue-in-cheek reference to one of DC's past projects that never actually came to fruition, and that is Justice League Mortal. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this was going to be a Justice League film that would have come out over a decade ago to be directed by George Miller, director of Mad Max, all of the Mad Maxes, which starred the likes of Armie Hammer, or would have starred the likes of Armie Hammer as Batman, Megan Gale as Wonder Woman, Morton Joe, Hugh Keays-Byrne as the Martian Manhunter. And,
man, holy shit!
Yeah, I mean, it had a pretty out there cast for sure. But two names stick out. DJ Catrona would have played Superman in that film, and Adam Brody would have played the Flash in that film, the Barry Allen incarnation of the Flash. And interestingly enough, DJ Catrona, Adam Brody, two members of the Shazam fam. So DJ Catrona plays the elder version of Pedro. He's the big buff green one. And then Adam Brody was the elder version of Freddy. So I kind of feel like, I don't know, it seems too coincidental. I almost feel like there has to be something to it, I would guess. But it's interesting that, probably on the cusp, I mean, I would imagine, just conjecture here, but I would imagine that those are two names that you're not familiar with, if I had to guess. But I would guess that if they were in a fucking Justice League movie, you'd probably be familiar with them. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe they're getting their due. It sucks to, obviously, I mean, like Armie Hammer, certainly you know who Armie Hammer is, but, for a lot of these guys to be on the cusp of being in a fucking massive Justice League movie, to be directed by fucking George Miller, which what a sort of crazy shit he would have done. I almost feel like this is like, DC paying it forward and being like, all right, we know how close you guys were to stardom. And this isn't quite the same. But we'll throw you a bone here. And I think they are all. I thought they did a really good job of capturing all of the characters as I totally bought into all of them as kind of their adult forms. I think Freddy particularly they did a really great job with, and I don't think we've talked about the younger Freddy at all. Jack Dylan Grazer was fucking awesome.
Nailed
as
it.
Freddy
Yeah.
Freeman. He was a big part of why the humor worked, and his interactions with fucking Zachary Levi were fucking gold throughout the movie. But I thought Adam Brody fucking pulled off an adult version of him like spectacularly, and I felt like all of them again felt like really natural extensions of it. And I liked the adult cast that they had overall. Megan Good as the adult Darla was fun. Ross Butler was Reggie on season 1 of Riverdale. I'll have you know, and he was the adult Eugene here. I enjoyed the Hadouken moment. That was pretty fun.
That was pretty great. Yeah, that was pretty fucking awesome because he's the gamer kid.
Right. Yeah. So I really said I was kind of surprised that they went there. It really does feel like a big moment for a sequel type thing. But they're like, we're just gonna throw everything at it right now and make it work.
Why'd he break the staff?
I don't know. It does seem a little short-sighted because I don't know. I mean, I guess,
fuck the staff. I'll break it.
And
it's like, fuck, dude. That's
I know. I guess in a way that you're entrusting your powers to only the 5 people that are now your family. But yeah, I don't know. Well, it's interesting because I believe there are 7 thrones at the Eternal Rock or whatever the fuck it's called. The
Rock of Eternity.
Rock of Eternity. That's the one. That's what I'm looking for. I think there's 7 thrones, and there's only 6 in the family, including Shazam himself. So
Shazam-O, dude. Shazam-O. He was one of the fucking people.
So who's the O going to be? Oh, maybe that's some sequel setup. I don't know. That'd be interesting. Ogar? Who's Ogar?
That's it, Ogar. The master of magic.
Yeah, so anyway, that was my long-winded fun fact. But it was also a good time to just talk about how I really liked the addition of using the powered-up versions of the Shazam fam. I thought that was really...
That was really good.
I thought that was a really fun addition to the third act to really kind of step the game up. And it made sense in a way because it's more than just Mark Strong's Sivana. That's the villain. We have the 7 deadly sins, who are these gargoyle monsters, which I was iffy on them personally. I felt like kind of bland characters. I've seen in the comics they have a lot more colorful designs and seemed a little bit more visually interesting. And here
they look like mobile statues. Yeah,
it wasn't much of anything. I didn't think.
They were all shadows.
For being the 7 deadly sins and having the names of the 7 deadly sins, it didn't seem like there was any real connection other than they're just monsters that eat people. You know what I mean?
Gluttony was fat,
I guess, but I don't know. I didn't
his
really...
stomach was a bunch of teeth. Did you see that when he opened up? He's
okay, I get the designs, but it didn't seem like the influence. Like Wonder Woman to make another comparison, which we can further this because I know you wanted to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
But, well, let me finish my thought first.
Yeah,
let me finish my thought, but hold your thought. Don't forget it. Ares in that, I think they make a point about how Ares as the god of war is influencing people to fucking fight and shit, and I kind of felt like they could have done something with that with the Sens, where it's just I don't know how they would have done it, I guess, necessarily,
they just want to eat
but
people in this though, right?
Yeah, it's like they're the 7 deadly sins, but they're not really pushing people to do anything specifically related to that sin. You know what I mean? It's just
right.
I'm just gonna eat this fucking guy because I'm hungry,
Right.
Which, if you're a gluttony, you want to eat some people, that's well and good. But that's kind of where I just, they were fine. It was kind of cannon fodder, I guess, in a way for the Shazam fam to fight at the end. And, they certainly held their own. Wouldn't say they're quite cannon fodder, but I kind of felt like they could have done something more interesting with that overall. And I think they could have done something more interesting with Sivana overall. Like I said, I think they tried to, they begin the film with him. They kind of touch on his characterization and, the resentment that he has towards his family. And we get that fucking boardroom sequence where he just fucking chucks his brother out the window, defenestrates his ass without any regard. And then after that, it's kind of he just kind of turns into nothing. He's just like, I'm just going to fucking punch Shazam to death. That's just his character after that point. It's just once he realizes that Shazam has found his champion, he's just that's it. All characterization just goes out the window, and he just turns into generic one-note superhero villain, and it's just that. I mean, Marvel's been guilty of that many a time, so it's not like this is an exclusively DC or an exclusively Shazam problem to have. But it's just kind of for as much effort as they spent with the character initially, it really to me felt like they just dropped it unceremoniously, and
they did
in favor of just kind of just doing nothing with it and just being, flying around and crashing into each other and punching each other a bit, and that's that.
But they called it out. They called it out. I think. I thought. I don't know. He's the villain's very 2-dimensional. I mean, he's there's not a whole lot there.
And that's not to discredit Mark Strong, who I think is also good here.
No, he's
also with
good.
Another fun fact. Also, the second DC comic book villain he's portrayed in his career, following up Sinestro from Green Lantern, the classic Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern film from 2011. We like to forget about that one, but I didn't. I didn't forget about that. He was mostly a good guy in that one, to be fair. But so anyway, that's what I had on that front. Wonder Woman. You wanted to talk about some Wonder Woman type things, I think.
I can't quite remember what I wanted to say about Wonder Woman.
It's the perils of drinking, my friend. It's the perils of drinking.
I can't draw the parallels that I did. Although I do know that Wonder Woman was overall a really good movie. That I felt was that third act really went down the drain really quick. I think I did not appreciate that third act at all, and I felt like they kind of made light of the fight sequence that happened in the third act of Wonder Woman by. But then again, that third act sequence, the flying of two people together. It's there in all the DC movies, so I can't quite remember the exact parallel I wanted to draw. I apologize.
Well, it was worth a try, I suppose. What else is there to say about this? Well, there's a pretty big subplot with Billy trying to find his mother, and then the kind of ultimate way that resolves.
I thought that was, I don't know.
See, I think I liked the end point of that, where him finding his new family is kind of what spurns him to victory ultimately, giving him, basically, realizing that he's found his actual family he's been searching for so long. I liked that moment.
It just kind of didn't feel like the way it should have felt, though. I don't know why. It didn't the payoff wasn't there as much as I thought it would have been, being that he pursued, like, the whole reason he acts the way he acts is because he's trying to find his mother, and then I felt like the whole payoff was kind of just okay, whatever.
Yeah, and obviously it's designed to be, kind of a heartbreaking moment for Billy to realize that, his mom basically just abandoned him, doesn't give a shit about him, doesn't remember like the one tangible connection that he has to her. I found myself more caught up in the logistics of how she abandoned him so successfully, and I'm like,
I agree. Like, motherfucker, you got his last name, you have her last name.
I guess I just I feel like she'd really have to go off the grid in a big bad way to not have the cops show up on her doorstep with like, hey, I think this is your kid.
I agree 100%. I was thinking about that too.
And so I got hung up on that a lot.
Fucking cops in Philly? What the fuck are cops in Philly doing?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. I that was one thing for me that
is that all you really have to do to get rid of a kid? You just
yeah. I was kind of just like I felt like they could have done something more to. I don't know how they would have done it. I feel like I'm sitting here just like they should do this instead. And they're like, well, how would you do that?
Mom got hit by a car. She got hit by a car. She's no longer living.
No, I don't think that works as well. That doesn't
Billy, your mom
doesn't work at all.
Your mom died. Your mom died.
No.
She was frantically looking for you after you lost a thing. She died in a car accident.
No, that would defeat the purpose entirely. I just think that there's a more legitimate way, I think, for her to abandon him and to be a couple subway stops away for him to have the convenience to see her, and like I think you need that moment. I just felt like, again, I'm just getting hung up on the nitty gritty details of just like, so she just left him there and that was it. No one came looking for her again. She just changed her maiden, she reverted to her maiden name, and then they're like, well, fuck me, there's no way of figuring out who she is now. It's just like, okay, I mean, I guess, but
you did get that cool sequence though where he ran off the roof of her apartment building. It said Shazam and pokes out his chest a little bit.
Yeah, a little Shazam action.
Shazam!
That was pretty fucking cool. It was pretty dope. That was like a splash page kind of thing.
Tell you what doesn't make sense a lot to me. I thought about this a lot. Like, he was saying Shazam under the water, but like because it was underwater, he doesn't get Shazammed.
Yeah, because I mean, we knew what he was saying.
Right. Shazam! He's saying it underwater. Does the magic not?
I don't know.
Because
I guess not.
Because of water.
Guess not. Because that's his weakness. He's got that David Dunn weakness.
I don't know. You need to rewrite your magic, Shazamo. What the fuck?
Don't let him near a puddle. You know what happens when you put people that can't deal with water near puddles? You know what happens. You know what happens. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but But Philadelphia connection.
Yeah, there you go. It's all connected. It's all part
connected. Hashtag it's all connected. Well, I think the last, probably most obvious place to go is that sort of cameo that we get at the end.
Was Superman?
Yeah, that's the one. That's
okay,
the one.
Yeah. I thought that was great. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that there was not Henry Cavill there?
Was that the CW Superman?
No, it just literally Henry Cavill obviously did not appear on set that day because he's maybe going to be Superman or maybe not. Who's to say? There's no way to know. But
it would have been really great if Superman showed up with a mustache. That would have been.
Did you? Did I send you the picture of that of the leak? No. Oh my god, dude! There's a legit picture that leaked with him with the full fucking Mission Impossible stash on set. Oh, it is so good. It is so good, and you probably find it if you Google it. You don't have to do it now, but I think
I'm gonna do it now.
I think any listener wants to do it, they could probably find it with a quick Googling. But it's every bit as glorious as you'd expect it to be. Hashtag release the mustache cut. I think also hashtag fuck the Snyder cut. I think that's the way we're looking at with Justice League.
Is it the one with the? No, that's not it. That's obviously fake. Okay, never mind.
It will, if you can't find it, I'll send it to you later. But yeah, I thought it was a fun way to end the movie, with Superman being, and again, it's one of those things. Just like, okay, so is that? I mean, it's obviously the Cavill costume. Is that Superman part of this universe? That's weird. It doesn't really make sense, but I guess it's fine or whatever. They're turning a new page or something. But it was fun. I liked the sequence itself. I just wish that. I don't know, I think it would have had more oomph if fucking Henry Cavill or someone showed up, instead of just having his head cut off out of frame. I felt like that somewhat diminished the impact. It's like you can kind of tell that DC doesn't quite have their shit together behind the scenes. So that's the end result. Is like, we know that we want to do this. It's like
in a vacuum, though. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. No, I said it was a clever.
I'm glad that they still ended with that. Shit that this fucking Superman's there. The fucking Red Cyclone or whatever they were trying to call him in the movie was there. They didn't know what to call him.
Isn't it weird that, I mean, I guess he's sort of Shazam, but like he can't call himself Shazam, otherwise he just turns back into a kid. But it's weird that we've had a Captain Marvel movie and a Shazam movie where neither character has not really been named. That's
yeah, it's
weird.
True.
Just an observation, I suppose. But also there's I think at some point a villain calls Earth a shithole or something on Earth a shithole. Just a weird minor connection that I picked up on.
Yeah,
it's not that big a deal.
That's true too. I think what's his face? What Mark Strong walks into the orphanage and says, "Oh, this place is a shithole."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, how quaint." I take it back. This is a shithole. But and Minerva says that in Captain Marvel about Earth in general. So I said it was just weird Captain Marvel coincidences all over the place. I think, but yeah. So Superman, very cool, very cool. Did you stick around for the 2 post-credits sequences?
I did.
1 mid-credits, I suppose. One post-credits. What'd you think about that mid-credits sequence? I want to know.
Is that the Aquaman one?
No, that was the other one. But we could talk about that too if you want.
No, okay. So we're talking about the fucking thing sitting on the outside of his window.
Savannah in prison gets a visitor.
Is that Savannah or is that Lex Luthor writing on the fucking shit? Because that's kind of the vibes I got. It's like, oh, they got that villain that's writing on the... He's just going crazy on the side of the thing. And then what Lex Luthor was going crazy about the fucking boxes or stuff. I don't know. Whatever.
Yes. Maybe that was another taking the piss kind of moment of just like, oh, great, here we go again. And then motherfucking Mr. Mind, a little caterpillar-looking motherfucker, shows up and you're just like, oh, I guess, all right, they're doing something else. All right, okay, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
That's kind of what I got from it. I don't know a lot about Mr. Mind, but...
Yeah, I didn't either. I don't think anyone in the theater watching this movie has any fucking clue what's going on. They're just like, that's a fucking caterpillar with a voice box. What is going on right now? Right. I think that's probably the general reaction. And I don't know what to tell you about Mr. Mind other than his Wikipedia page is titled Mr. Mind and the Monster Society of Evil, which sounds pretty dope. I like that. I like that a lot.
Fucking little caterpillar.
So I hope that Shazam fights a caterpillar. I'm not sure how that works, but I assume the Monster Society of Evil is probably the muscle. If I had to guess, He's probably got some telepathic connections that he forges. I don't know. It's interesting. They're setting up this kind of angle for a sequel. I'm assuming it'll probably get one. I think DC is probably going to be generally happy with its. I think
they have a return on investment is what I
ROI. Yeah, I think they're going to be okay with that. But I think the only other place that I want to talk about the Aquaman scene is fine. It's whatever. It's okay.
Whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Marvel mold of, kind of one sequel type setup mid credits and then humorous anecdote at the end, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The only other thing I think that's interesting is that Black Adam gets, I think, one kind of offhand reference in this film of kind of a previous champion that had been chosen that didn't work out too well for the Wizard. There's kind of like the projection that they show of that. And Black Adam has been cast for like 5 years now. He's going to be played by The Rock at some point, maybe, who's to say? But The Rock has been attached to play this role for years now. At one point, Shazam was going to have both characters in it, and then The Rock flexed his muscles, figuratively and probably literally, and called up WB and said, "Hey,
not now."
He said, I don't think this is going to work. Black Adam needs his own movie. And so apparently DC is going to make Black Adam as a separate movie. Black Adam being kind of like the arch rival to Shazam, basically a fallen version, a Shazam gone bad type character, if you will. But he's also kind of I think he's not strictly speaking always a bad guy. And so I'm assuming that's probably the way they're leaning with that character. But it's interesting. I mean, to kind of have this brief kind of allusion to this major part of the Shazam mythos and then nothing past that. I really thought, if you put The Rock in a fucking credit sequence, you bet your ass this.
Yeah,
well, you bet your ass this movie would make a lot. The second one would make a lot more money.
Does he say Adam or does he say Shazam?
I don't know. Actually,
I don't know. I feel like Adam doesn't work as well.
I don't think he says Adam. If I had to guess, I think he.
We need to do a quick Googs.
I think he still says Shazam. I think his name is Adam. I think he's like an ancient Egyptian character who's been around for a while. I think his name is like Teth Adam or something like that.
Thethadam.
So I think that's where the Adam part of that comes from, and that he's kind of like a corrupted, fallen version of the Shazam.
Oh, he pulls his shit from different characters. The stamina of Shu, the speed of Haru, the strength of Aman, the wisdom of Zahudi, the power of Atan, the courage of Mahin, and the longevity. That doesn't really have anything.
I don't think that was connected. Shazamel. Shazam, it's the stuff that makes superheroes' teeth very strong.
Shazam. So the Egyptians have such good teeth.
So anyway, I think we can expect The Rock to show up at some point, and I would assume if they do a Black Adam film that they would also do a crossover film at that point, and I think that sounds good. I'd be interested in that personally. But
that sounds pretty good.
I think that's all my thoughts on Shazam. I think I've certainly got enough on the record there. I would say
it's good.
It's a good film. Certainly one of DC's finest. I don't know if I'm willing to say that I like it more than Wonder Woman at this point in time. I'd probably have to revisit Wonder Woman again, maybe give Shazam some time to kind of sift around in the brain and see where it kind of settles. But I think it's easily top tier DC. I think
absolutely.
I think that's without question. It's definitely a cut above Aquaman. I think a cut above most of their crop. It's certainly light years ahead of your fucking Suicide Squad schlocky shit and whatever fucking garbage they put out for a year there. BVS, Justice League, just fucking crap. So yeah, Shazam. What have you been up to?
Let me tell you something. Speaking of Shazam, or more, speaking of Captain Marvel, I watched a movie on your recommendation. I think it's 12 Steps or 12.
Short-term 12.
Short-term 12. That's it. Holy shit! What a movie. Listen, if you stuck around for this entire podcast to know what movie to watch, you need to watch that movie. I watched that movie on a fairly recent date, and it made me look really bad because I was an emotional wreck during this entire movie. Like, I had to get up at a couple points just to get up and separate myself because I didn't want somebody to see that I was, like, weeping. So I got up, tried to find my electric cigarette, and there was a little bit of wine involved, I won't lie, but this movie really hit some really hard-hitting points. And I think I texted you, I thought it came out last year, but apparently it didn't come out last year. It came out when?
I think it was a 2013 movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 2013 movie. Holy shit.
It was apparently Brie Larson's first leading role, so that might tell you a few things.
That's outstanding. What a fucking movie. It absolutely blew my mind. Probably one of the best movies I think I've seen in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, I'd agree. It certainly it seems like a bold statement, but I honestly I don't think you're overselling it.
No, I
think you're right.
It's an incredible movie. So with that being said, I did watch that. I watched. I've seen The Notebook recently.
Well, yeah. Well, he's certainly talking to a new lady. I can confirm as much.
I had never seen.
What do you want?
I don't.
Tell me what you want.
You've seen it apparently.
It's been a few years, but yeah, you know, we all have our moments.
I don't think I've seen that movie in its entirety ever. I did see it in its entirety, and it's a pretty good movie.
I mean, as I recall, it's pretty fine. Yeah, I mean, as far as the Nicholas Sparks stuff goes, it's certainly, I think, in the upper tier, I would say.
Yeah, so it's totally good. It's totally fine. What else have I watched in its entirety? Watched
Ryan Gosling, Rachel McAdams. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good cast.
It's
right
pretty
there.
good cast.
Really,
Exactly. You can't ask for much more, I guess. But I did watch some American Gods. I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones. I've been trying to grind through the Game of Thrones. And aside from that, it's pretty much been it. Game of Thrones. American Gods, and The Notebook. And 12 pounds. Or what's it called?
Short term 12, but I enjoy that you make up a new name every time you mention it.
Short term 12, that's it. Yeah, what have you been up to, man?
Well, a few things, in fact. The Mortal Kombat 11 hype train is in full force for me, so I went back and started up the story mode of the Mortal Kombat 2011 reboot.
Oh shit!
Well, I like that they have such a really big cinematic story component to those games, and they're not too long either. I think I can probably burn through it in
Is that the Mortal
6-7
Kombat
hours.
that took place like you had like a free world map? Do you remember that one?
It's not, but that was many, many years ago.
That's not Mortal Kombat 11? Okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, 11 is the new one about to come out. This is 9, technically, but this basically was a reboot of the first 3 games in the series. It was kind of like an altered history type thing.
Okay.
Where basically, the universe has gotten so fucked where half the characters were dead, and so they had to go back in time to fix things, or to sort of fix things, and ultimately Raiden just fucks everything up for everyone even more than it probably already was fucked up before. It's good. I'm about halfway through it. I played it back in the day. I've probably played it at least once since then. So my plan is to run through the story mode on that, and then run through the story mode on X, or 10, I guess. And then 11 will be out in a few weeks' time. So that way I can kind of run from one to the other to the new one. And it kind of gets me in the mood of playing the games, getting used to the buttony type things, getting used to it's getting me in the fighting game spirit. I like it. I finished Arrested Development Season 5. Finished it today, in fact. And definitely felt like a conclusion to the series, or at least intended. This felt like it was intended to be if necessary, and I imagine that's probably going to be the case. It's messy. But it's enjoyable overall. I felt like it came together in a pretty decent way at the end. I was worried about it for a while, but it kind of pulled the rug out from under me in a nice way, which I appreciated. They did a lot of automated dialogue replacement for the season, which was super fucking jarring for most of it. I don't know if they were just super rushed with the filming of it or what the deal was, but that was kind of a weird, kind of felt low budget type thing. But Yeah, it's fine. You know, I as I've said, I think probably in the multiple times that I've talked about it, if you have no reference for the series, don't bother. But if you do, it's you could certainly do worse. I think it's been a good break from Game of Thrones, certainly tonally speaking. So I enjoyed it. So yeah, any Arrested Development fans, yeah, you could do worse. You could do a lot worse. I saw the last thing I'll talk about. I saw the Pet Sematary remake or new adaptation. I'm not exactly sure how they're framing it. Which came out same weekend as Shazam. I think we briefly talked about covering it as well, but I kind of, well, I'll say it now. As I said to you before, it's fine. It's totally fine. It is what it is. It's not. I don't know that we would have had a whole lot to say about it, to be honest.
One of my coworkers went and watched this movie, and she never goes to the movie theaters, but she was bragging about how she was going to go watch it, and before I did, and I was like, well, I'm pretty hyped to see it. But she went and saw it before I did, and she had nothing good to say about it. She was pissed she even went to the movie theater.
I mean, I didn't think it was bad. I've seen a lot worse in terms of horror. It just felt... It was weird to me. It just felt like certain things they went for it, and then certain things they pulled back on. You know, and I know I'm not someone that's familiar with the original movie or the book, the Stephen King novel. So I can't really speak too much about comparing it, but I do understand that some changes were made, as adaptations are wont to do. Some that seemed interesting enough to me, at least kind of put another clever twist on it. I guess there was one of the trailers I didn't actually end up seeing. I think I kind of managed to dodge it successfully, but apparently it spoiled the shit out of the entire movie. Not the first one. I think it was the second one where they just literally told you the entire movie. It was one of those kind of trailers. So I guess I don't know how it would play. I wasn't totally surprised by anything in it, but it was nice to kind of...
everybody familiar with the fucking...
Well, it maybe it was a trailer like you've seen the movie from 20 years ago. You know the story, and it's just like, well, but apparently they spoiled the one big thing that they changed. Apparently they spoiled that in the trailer too. I still haven't actually gone back and watched the trailer, but apparently they spoiled the shit out of the one big change that they did. So, it was fine. John Lithgow was great in it. He was very well acted, and I like Jason Clarke. He's good in it. It felt to me like I could see that it was an adaptation of a Stephen King novel. It felt like there was a lot of threads in there that felt like something that worked in a literary medium that didn't quite come off the page, I think, in the way that the filmmakers intended it to. Kind of just felt like it was there. But there were some effective horror moments in it. I think overall, certainly some creepy visuals, creepy moments and stuff like that. But it just never quite coalesced, I think, in a super meaningful or super impactful way. But you could do worse. You could do far worse. I think Hellboy is going to be far worse as an example of things. If that 1 minute trailer that I saw is any indication, because holy shit, it looks so fucking bad. I cannot believe it.
I need to watch it.
Cannot believe it. I hope it's going to be just schlocky fun or something, but good God, it looks miserable. So anyway, Pet Sematary, you could do far worse for an A-list ticket. It's certainly fine. I saw it the same day as I saw Shazam for the second time, and I had no regrets. I thought it was fine. It's pretty short. I think it's a pretty painless experience overall. It's like an hour 40 minutes long. I feel like that's a good horror movie length. So, yeah, it's a lot better than the last Stephen King adaptation I saw, which was The Dark Tower. So, it's high praise.
Right, it's true. That was I think that was our first episode, and it was
our first episode, and I think it also ended up being our worst movie of the year when we did our year-end.
It actually
rankings.
is the movie that it's the movie that resulted in the chipping of my tooth.
That's right. That's correct. And if you want to hear the story of that, you got to go back to the beginning, baby. Episode 1. You got to go 87 episodes back in time to episode 1 to hear Andrew tell you all about the chipping of the tooth. Because you talked about it there, and I remember you talking about it. So,
and I still have a fucking chipped tooth even after the dentist patched me up. The chip, the feeling of the Dark Tower is still present in my life.
It's a very impactful film on your life for a particular reason, certainly.
My front tooth is permanently chipped now. Thank you, Dark Tower.
But I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say on that front. Thank you all for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the word. If you have any interest in our Game of Thrones bonus episodes. Of course, as I mentioned, you now have access, all of our regular listeners, of course, have access to the first 3 seasons. But if you'd like to listen to Season 4 and Season 5 when we do get around to that, hopefully very soon, the only way to do that when we record it and put it up immediately is through our Patreon. So if you'd like to support us on Patreon, it only costs you $2 on a monthly basis. That will get you that timed exclusive access to those bonus episodes, as well as any future bonus episodes, including, of course, future Game of Thrones episodes through Season 7, and early access to regular episodes. So if you would like to support us on Patreon, head to our website, watchreviewrepeat.com, click the Premium tab in the top left, and then click the Become a Patron button. And you'll be on your way. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, @WRRPod is our handle. Like us on Facebook. Just give us a search on the search bar. Watch, Review, Repeat, of course. Questions, comments, and suggestions. We are available at our Gmail account, which is watchreviewrepeat@gmail.com. Happy to field any questions. Happy to field any comments. Anything you want to send. Mostly anything. Intro and outro track, Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Next episode will be Hellboy. It'll be Hellboy, the 2019 version of Hellboy. We will see. How it turns out. I guess morbidly curious, I guess is probably the way I'd put it. I know I recall the first trailer being bad, the second trailer being like, okay, maybe there's something, and then, like I said, the one I've talked about on this episode making me think, okay, I had it right the first time around, but we'll see. I've been wrong before, so I'm hoping to be wrong on this one. Not confident, but I'm hoping to be wrong. So look forward to our coverage of Hellboy. And until then, well, Game of Thrones, and Dark Tower. Go listen to our fucking Dark Tower episode. Blast from the past, if you will. That's it. I think that's it. Well, Andrew, I think that's it. So it's time for you to say something to the listeners.
Shazam!